What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Dude Ranch DIY. My name is Jake. As you can see behind me, I got a trailer load of 7 fresh IBC totes. Picked those up on my way home from work today. Chris and I were supposed to go do day 2 of Sean's tree job. You might have already seen that video, you might not have. But it got rained out. As you might be able to tell, it's pretty wet back here. It like downpoured for like 45 minutes. Been on and off ever since, but called one of my suppliers. They said they had a bunch of totes ready for me. So came home, got the trailer, turned around, went and hooked up. These things are getting harder for me to come by, at least for free. I know a lot of places I can get them and pay for them, but up until this point, I've gotten all 80 something of my totes for free. So I'm not really all that willing to just give up and start paying for these things. But at the rate that Eastonmade log splitter fills these things up, especially because we haven't been stacking them, it takes like 10 minutes, maybe even less, to fill up one of these totes. So these, in theory, these 7 totes will last me like an hour, and 70 minutes, an hour and 10 minutes. I have 4 here and 1 empty underneath the conveyor. But enough chit chat, because I actually have a guy that's coming, like he's on his way now, to pick up all 7 of these bladders. So the woodyard IBC tote situation, albeit it's getting harder to find them, when I do find them, it's like a well-oiled machine. They're coming in, bladders going out, and that's the way we like it. I think Chris should be stopping by soon to give me a hand. Actually, here he is right now, so that's perfect. One of us can be unloading the trailer, the other can be taking the bladders out, and it looks like he has some furry friends. Three for three. Well, guys, that worked out really well. We couldn't get the bladders out fast enough. As Chris was unloading them, I was putting them right onto the guy's truck. He was able to fit 4 on his trailer and 2 in the bed of his pickup truck. And we got to talking a little bit. Turns out he's a local chainsaw carver. So I got his card, and that might be cool to kind of get, maybe cut down a tree and have him
make a Louie and a Gus.
Do something. Well, I don't know about a Louie and a Gus, but do something cool. Maybe a cool eagle, or I don't know. We'll figure it out. Coors Banquet. But anyway,
you need a big Coors Banquet sitting in your backyard.
Big Coors Banquet. He also asked me if I needed logs, and I was like, yeah, I can't, you know, I don't have enough time to do enough jobs to cut down enough wood to keep up with this Eastonmade. So he actually has a local guy that I know the company. I've seen the trucks around. And he called the guy and told him that I have a big yard. It would be a dream to come in and unload logs. Sent me his phone number, so I'm actually going to give the guy a call right now and see if he'd be willing to drop off some nice firewood poles. All right, guys, Chris and I got distracted by fire and burning up scraps and a bunch of Coors Banquet. But we got one last guy coming for the last bladder over there. And we will pick this video back up when we get into splitting this maple into all of these fresh new totes. All right, guys, we are currently in the International. I got my buddy Gus here with me, and we are starting out this Saturday morning by taking the dumpster can that has been getting filled up with construction debris for the past month and a half or so to the dump finally. It is full, and our bathroom remodel is going to be complete today. Our bedroom is almost done. It should be completed within the next like 2 weeks or so. We just got some finishing touches, waiting on some stuff to come in. So yeah, it's a beautiful day. I'm actually not doing any tree work because it was supposed to be pouring all day today. So we actually canceled our job, unfortunately, but we're hoping to get a bunch of things done today. So we'll check back in once we get to the dump. Got Gus here, 16,540 it was, and it looks like we're just waiting to dump. There's a little bit of a line here. Just sitting here, and I noticed they got a nice, really brand new Kubota skid steer there with a mega bucket on it. Thing is nice. It would look good in the wood yard. Now, I've never been to a place like this before to dump construction debris. You know, I've obviously been to places where they dump, you know, I can dump logs and chips and stumps and stuff like that, and they do it by like the yard. This place does it by the weight, you know, so I pulled onto the scale full, and I was 16,540, I think I was. And I know the light weight of this truck is around 12 or 13,000 with the dumpster can on it. So I don't really know how much this is going to cost to dump. It rained yesterday, which definitely doesn't help as far as the weight, but I let a lot of the water, you know, drain out and stuff for about an hour or so while I was getting ready to come this morning. So we will see how much this ends up costing me. All right, guys, it's our turn. This is pretty big. All right, there it goes. My big shear over there. Let's get this dumped. Right, Gus? Here we go. All right, guys, we're putting it down. There we go. Gotta hop back on the scale and shut the door. Time to hop on the scale. We were at 16,540. Let's see what we're at now. We're at 12,580. All right, so about 4,000 pounds. Not too shabby. I don't know. I think they said it was like $148 a ton, but I'm not positive. This was like 2 months ago when I called this place to find out. So it's settling right in at 12,560. They just gave me the green light. So that's what we're at, 12,560. Lightweight with the dumpster. I should write that down somewhere. So if we're right at like $300 for 2 tons, that's not too bad. That's probably less than it would have been if I, you know, chose to rent a dumpster instead of using my own. All right, guys, it came out to a total of $311. I gave her 4 $100 bills, and she gave me one back. So we saved $11.92. Gross weight, 16,540. Tear, 12,580. Net, 3,960 pounds. $148 a pound, or a ton. Not too bad. Let's head home, Gus. You ready? Good boy. Okay, guys, we're over at one of my neighbor's houses, and he has a bunch of ash for me. So we are going to load it up in the dumpster can now that it's empty. Check out this thing that he has, a big tree cutter to go on the back end of a big old tractor. Big blades on it. Push bar. Way too big for my little Kubota. Well, all right, guys, there we go. Nice load of ash logs, all boneless, skinless for the most part, dumped out of the International. We literally just came from, like, not this house, but the next one. Ron, my neighbor over there, is a good guy. Unfortunately, he's selling his property, but I think we'll still stay in touch. He has a lot of good connections around here. So yeah, I dumped it right off to the side. Should be able to come in no problem with the tractor, grab them with the grapple, and add them onto the pile. So building up our inventory a little bit. Okay, guys, we are finally back. It is about 6:40 in the evening. We left off dumping those logs in the wood yard that are right over here. That was around 11 a.m. Since then, it's been a lot of running around today. Didn't get as much as I had hoped done, but we are going to split up a little bit of firewood. So I think I filmed it. Well, actually, I'm not really sure, but I got this load of maple here from my buddy Joe. He took down a tree for a guy, loaded it up into his dump trailer, and we brought it over here. So we got all this maple, and then I recently made acquaintance with a new tree service here in town, just because I haven't been bringing home all that much wood because of the weather, and you know, I only typically do the big jobs like on the weekends and stuff. It just hasn't been conducive. So I started reaching out, made a new contact. He brought me this little bit of nice cut up white oak. It looks like some good stuff. He said he should be able to hook me up with basically as much wood as I could ever possibly want. So we're going to be building a new relationship there. Got an empty tote, and we're gonna fire up the Eastonmade 2228 and see how much, or I guess how long it'll take to fill up this tote. I don't think I'm gonna do much more than just this one tote. Might come out tomorrow morning, which is Father's Day. Happy belated Father's Day to all the fathers out there. And I can maybe try and get some more done before I go and hang out with my dad. All right, guys, so couple things. Obviously, I said in the beginning that I was going to time how long it took me. I started at 7:42 or 6:42, and I ended at 7:08. So that's, I think, 26 minutes, I think. So that took me a lot longer than it normally does, almost like triple the time. But you saw I was fighting with a massive, that was just half of the stump cut from this big red maple tree. That thing, I mean, the box wedge handled it great. If I had two people here, it would have been much easier. But it was just so big, and I was trying to rotate it to get it, because it was ripped in half, so it was just a whole flat side to it. And I wanted that curvature to be down in like the log cradle to make the, consistent size splits for the most part. And that thing was just hard to move by myself, so it took some extra time. Regardless, I mean, we have real nice size firewood. Those last two pieces that I put through were pretty darn big rounds, one being a stump, another being just a big round of wood. And I mean, I did have to raise up the wedge at one point, so like this is a pretty big piece of wood. This I would normally, split again, but you also have pieces of wood in here that are like this. So I really think that it's okay that there are some larger pieces, because if anybody has a wood stove or, you need kindling, you need the medium-sized pieces, and you need the big pieces to like keep it going. So, I mean, yeah, there is some scrap and stuff in here that, you're gonna get that with the box wedge. You're sacrificing, consistent quality every time for less handling of the wood and speed. So not every piece is gonna be, that exact same size, because there is some variation of the way, just, the inherent nature of the box wedge. But I'm okay with that. I think most of my customers will be okay with that. I've always gotten compliments on the smaller splits, yet still having a variety in my wood. So I think that's gonna be all right. Let's get this tote out of here. It's 7:15, but I feel like doing another tote. So we'll probably fire the Eastonmade back up. Alright guys, just like that, we filled up a whole second tote and we started to make a dent in this pile of rounds. The Eastonmade, you can probably hear in the background, is cooling itself down. That oil cooler is a nice feature to have, especially when it's hot out. It's like 80 degrees right now. But let me spin you around. Made a nice dent in this pile. Some of these pieces are just like so far over 16, it's not even funny. I get kind of pissed off when when I'm nice enough to take, help somebody out and get rid of some wood so that they don't have to pay to get rid of it, and I ask for it to be cut to 16, and you have pieces like this that are 1, 2, and a half, that's well over 20 inches long, but that's all right. I can always zip some little, sections off with the 500i. Actually, this white oak from the new tree service, this stuff looks like spot on. Like this all looks really nice. It's actually the stuff that I got from my buddy Joe that is not cut to 16 at all. But anyway, that is what it is. Got another nice full tote of maple here, and you know, just gonna add it over to the stack in the drying yard. I think Chris and his fiance Sarah are actually gonna come over, and we're gonna hang out on the patio, get a little fire going in the Warm Bond, like kind of knockoff solo stove. That thing, by the way, is awesome. I know I only showed it in that one short and then a live stream, but that Warm Bond, I've been using it so much. I never used to use our, you know, cheap fire pit from Home Depot, but this Warm Bond thing makes the, you know, just lighting a fire so easy, and it just keeps going, and it's hot, and it burns up complete. There's like no ashes left. I really like that thing, so I'm gonna put a link to that down in the description. If you guys are looking for a good, you know, reasonably priced alternative to a solo stove or one of those other, you know, brands that claim to be smokeless, this Warm Bond thing is the real deal. So that's going to wrap up this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed. That was by far the biggest diameter wood that I've put through the Eastonmade since I've had it. The box wedge handled it well. You know, it made decent wood out of it. It also made a lot of scraps, but you know, this wood, these were gnarly stump cuts, you know, crotch pieces, you know, where big branches were coming out and stuff. So that is kind of to be expected, but it certainly made splitting those types of pieces a heck of a lot easier, because I didn't have to manhandle them around quite as much. I mean, I was trying to flip them here, you know, in the log cradle to try and make the nicest, cleanest wood that I can, and try to, you know, work my way around the knots. I didn't have to do that, but I chose to. So that's that. Enough chit chat. As always, guys, if you liked the video, give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, click that subscribe button down below. I'd really appreciate it. Any questions, comments, or feedback, throw it down in that comment section. But for now, I'm Jake. This is Dude Ranch DIY. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you here next time.